welcome.
All right. So I think I threw on the recording here, and we are going to let's keep on going and pick up where we left off last week. And then I think we have maybe one more class after this on the Ìdóṣù, and then we're moving on to the next topic. This was initially supposed to be one class, but there was so much information to go over to that we didn't want to rush. So I believe one of the EIs asked this question, and this is the last question to where we left off with number 12. And so we were speaking about like your ritual commitment that you have to do once you initiate. So I guess we can continue this question is that after you do your Ìdóṣù, what are the things that someone is like you're obligated and committed to do ritually? I know that they should be doing the yearly anniversary. There should be, different rituals that you do in the morning. And so I guess one of the EIs was asking, how often do you do like, the cola nuts and the alcohol and the water? Do you do this every day? Do you do this every, Ọbàtálá day? So I guess in general, what things that you are obligated to do once you're initiated to, your Òrìṣà?
Yeah. Thank you very much. On this, there are a lot of things that the initiate supposed to be doing after he has done the initiation. Number one, the Muslims, they say there are 5 pillars of Islam. Likewise, we have our own pillar too. But it's just that the way they're mentioning it, we just don't do ours like that. Understand? Now, being an initiate and after your initiation is an obligation and is a duty for you to be doing your OOSA Ọbàtálá. That is one. Number 2, you make sure that at least we have what they call ìtàdógún. That should be the time whereby you put out your rìndínlógún. You cast your rìndínlógún. You know what Òrìṣà has for you. And this moment is when you need to call together all the Òrìṣà devotees that you want to have your own ìtàdógún so that they can come and join you. You get? So you call them all around.
And repeat the term. You said, did you say your own ita when you cast the rìndínlógún?
I said during the ìtàdógún. We have normally 5 days or 10 that we actually do. Mm-hmm. When it is the 3rd OOSA Ọbàtálá, that is ìtàdógún.
Okay.
That is when we have ìtàdógún. So that time, that is the time whereby you need to carry out your rìndínlógún and you cast it and know what Òrìṣà has for you.
Okay.
Whether it is ire, whether it is àyẹ̀wò. It's very important. But you have to observe your OOSA, which is the 5 days, which you have to break kola before your Ọbàtálá. 5 days. And also morning devotion. That one has to be there as well. If it is possible for you, you can be giving your Ọbàtálá kola nut every day. It's okay. If it is convenient for you that during the OOSA, which is 5 days, you want to be giving your Ọbàtálá kola nut, it's okay. But ìtàdógún, you need to do, bring everyone of Ọbàtálá members together. You invite them to come and do ìtàdógún with you, to celebrate your ìtàdógún. Then on that day, you cast your rìndínlógún. So those are the obligations which someone needs to be doing when you have done your initiation.
Gotcha. Okay. We have one question. Go ahead. Iya Okun for me again.
Caro, or it's probably a Kuroleo. So he said to give cola nuts to Ọbàtálá if it's specified for you to do during the Ìdóṣù.
Oh, so Bob, I'm sorry. You can go ahead, Baba.
I don't get the question very well, please. Maybe she can
in regards to giving the cola nuts, the person doesn't have to give cola nuts every day, correct? Or they do have to give it every day.
If it is convenient for you, you can be giving every day.
Gotcha. If it's convenient for you.
Yes, if it is convenient for you. But it is proper for you to be giving your Ọbàtálá cola nut or tea every Ọ̀sẹ̀. Even if you have more than that, if you can be giving your Ọbàtálá ìgbín, ẹyẹlé, it depends on how buoyant you are. Understand?
Yes.
But that AKOGUN is very, very compulsory. It's very, very important. But due to some things, some are not even observing rìndínlógún anymore, but it is good. Because during that rìndínlógún, that is when all the Ọbàtálá Devotees, they gather. Especially here in Oyo, during the AKOGUN, we gather in the temple of Ọbàtálá. That is the day everybody dress even more than what he or she has. You get that today is AKOGUN. I have to go there and see. You understand? So we recognize AKOGUN so much.
And so a question, so how often is the AKOGUN? Is that the period like after you initiate, and then I think it's like maybe what 3 months after that, or do you have AKOGUN like on a periodic basis, if that's clear?
This is how we count your AKOGUN. You know that Ọbàtálá Ọbàtálá is every 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
You count the first 5 days, 1, the second 5 days, and the third 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Gotcha. Okay. That's good to have. What is the first step? And what is AKOGUN? Okay, so Ẹfúnlàdé says, I'm sorry, you want to ask your question to make sure that it's clear. You said that the first step is to clean what? Ẹfúnlàdé?
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Carol. So I was asking, was the first step, I wasn't sure about the first step. You were saying to clean what?
To clean what? Did I mention clean?
I'm not sure, but so if and it may be a little distortion. So
yeah.
And I think it was like the different processes. So you have the things that you do to your Ọbàtálá, like you give it, igbean. Of course, we don't have snail, the pigeon. You can dab the erin, your Ọbàtálá, this item here with you can dab it with water. You spit alcohol onto it. But I don't think that I heard clean, but I said, and you give the cola nut every day if you have access to, but at least on the Ọ̀sẹ̀, the Ọbàtálá day, to do so. And then the AKOGUN, right, Baba, is the every third Ọbàtálá day, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And then if we can, I can send a link to the calendar to be sure that everyone has it. I just throw it on my phone, instead of reminder, so that every day that it comes, I know to make sure that I give it the time and the food that Ọbàtálá needs. Yes, yeah, Okunfumike.
So you can spit alcohol on the Ọbàtálá icon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Ọbàtálá is our community. He drinks or tea.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that was the same thing that my RA said as well, that to clean the Ọbàtálá with gin, and and you can spit it on the icon. But I wanted to confirm that to be sure, because I know the thing about alcohol. I wanted to be clear that it wasn't a taboo, but you could spray Ọbàtálá with the alcohol.
Yeah, tea is not a taboo for Ọbàtálá.
Okay.
It's not a taboo, but some just decided not to be giving Ọbàtálá tea because of the fact that when Eledumare sent Ọbàtálá to come and create the earth, you know, he got to the crossroad and he saw.
Oh, Baba just dropped off. Hold on just 1 second, y'all.
That was a very interesting part that he was about to get into, because of course it's good to always hear that creation story and the whole, you know, what happened with Obatala at that point.
So may I ask, I just wanted to be sure because there is still a little distortion for me. He was saying the first things you want to do after your initiation. That's what I was asking. So the first thing he was saying, I guess, feed your Obatala. And then the next thing was to that Dogun.
Yeah.
I do that anyway because I have it on my calendar as well. I spray mine with alcohol because that's what they told me during my initiation.
Right.
So I do that every 4 days, actually.
Right.
3-4 days. And then he said something about money devotion. So you give your Obatala coconuts is often every day.
Right.
Okay.
If it's convenient and it's possible, yes, every day.
And then there was something about the first 5 years, the second 5 years. What was that pertaining to?
Oh no, he was speaking of the days when to do the Dogun is every third Obatala day.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
And that's when you're welcome. And that's when you would cast your Lagoon as well.
So I don't have an Lagoon. So how does that work?
So I'm thinking that's maybe for those who actually receive the Lagoon, because of course not all initiates you know, are seeking to become diviners.
Right. I'm to take that class this October.
Good.
Okay.
Great. Yeah. And then and some are made different. Some should have the 16 kairos with them, but some don't. Like mine was just the airing, you know, the Obatala. I didn't get the kairos and I had to get them later.
Okay.
So maybe we can set up something like that. If we all, I mean, of course, this is the closest to the community that we can get, but maybe every Dogun we can all get together, you know, Cash or Chan, and you know, and do it as a collective. So that may be.
That would be good.
Okay.
That would be great. Thank you.
All right, Bob, are you back on? Can you hear us? Hold on. Okay. Baba Ẹfúnlàdé, can you hear us now? Okay. Hold on, it's in the chat. Okay, Baba, if you could hear us, I believe you left off with the story of creation, I believe. I came across that essay as well, or the version that I have is Ejila Shebor, when Ọbàtálá created. So you were saying that when he was crossing the crossroads with alcohol, or you know, crossing the crossroads and he came across the tree. Okay, I think he's still. Okay, so we just give it a moment for that. Okay. Okay, so I guess while we're waiting, so yeah, the colon that you can do every day, you know, when you pray, so you would do your chants, do your songs, and then the prayer that you want to materialize, you'll speak to the colon, and then it could be the 2-lobe or the 4-lobe, whatever you have access to. I was told that the Orisha do take the bitter cola as well, but it's better to have the lobed kola nut. You'll take, you know, and of course, before you pray, you or chant, you would take the alligator pepper. So take alligator paper, you know, pepper, you chew it. It's supposed to, you know, work wonders with your ashe when you're speaking. So eat the pepper, you do your chants, pray, you do your songs, take the kola nut, and you'll speak whatever you want Ọbàtálá to materialize into that kola nut. And then you'll break the kola nut, and then the kola nut is what you use to see if your prayers you know, were accepted, or you can kind of see what the I guess what the energy forecast is for the day. So I use this on the daily to be sure that that Ọbàtálá is, you know, if he accepts my prayers, or if there's something else that he may need. So sometimes if I would cast it, I'm like, you know, are you appeased? And it'll be, you know, most of the time it'll be yes. Certain days it'll be like no. And so I go through the list of, you know, what can I do? It's like, you know, do you need fresh water? You know, yeah, so we give them the water, or then I give them, you know, the Indian and Agusi, you know, the pounded yams, and then that usually, you know, works out with the water, pounded yams, and kola nuts. You know, thankfully so far he's been able to take that. So Bob, you said that you hear us. I don't know if your mic is still working, but you can hear us through here, right? Okay. He says he hears us on the phone, but I don't hear his voice.
Yeah, I think he's having issues with his mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Baini.
Good. I can hear you loud and clear.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Baba. And so you left off with the story when Ọbàtálá was creating, as he came down to the crossroads.
And what brings about the story was the giving of Oti to Ọbàtálá. You know, some people in diaspora, they don't like giving Ọbàtálá Oti. There are lots of issues like that which we have addressed here. In Brazil, Ọbàtálá Devotees, they don't like giving Ọbàtálá Oti, and some parts and some in the state there as well. They don't like giving Ọbàtálá Oti. So it's because of what actually happened. That was why they take it personally, that due to that, they will never give Ọbàtálá Oti. Because when Ọbàtálá was coming, when Elédùmarè sent him to come and create the world, so when he got to the crossroad, he saw a god of palm wine that he drank from it, and he drank to stupor. So he was unable to, you know, to pick up himself to go and discharge the duty Elédùmarè was given to him. So due to this, Odùduwà had to take over from him. Odùduwà had to take over. So Odùduwà now went on and, you know, create the world, but not as the way Elédùmarè sent Ọbàtálá, because Ọbàtálá was the one that finished, that accomplished the job. So it's because of that. That was why, because of the taking of palm wine, that is why some Ọbàtálá devotees don't give their Ọbàtálá Oti. Yes. But here we give Ọbàtálá Oti. In Ife we give Oti. In Oyo we give Oti. So many places where they are, you know, worshiping Ọbàtálá throughout the West Africa, they are giving Ọbàtálá Oti.
And you said something as well, what you stated, and I don't remember what it was exactly in Yoruba, is that one of the priests was saying, like, you know, there's a little bit of medicine in OT or something like that. And so, like, you know, when they drink, it's something is medicinal. So with me, of course, you know, when we read the stories, like you said, we take it literal. It's like, okay, you know, it was problems that happened while he was drunk, but maybe they're communicating something about, you know, making sure that you're seeing clearly in positions of authority or whatnot, like, you know, not to miss, or, you know, not to, I guess, falter in leadership. So I think that's why some of us here, it's like, you know, where they chose not to drink, but I have seen, you know, folks, they clean and they give the icon OT. So yeah, I've heard that over here.
I haven't heard of that story that you are just saying. I have the story outline written by Ọbàtálá Ọbàtálá here with me.
Okay, thank
I
you.
want us to see where you can work out on this so that everybody can read it.
Got you. Okay. And then yeah, we came across the essay as well. I think I have one in Ejilashe board that I'll share with you that speaks about that account what happened when, when he was coming down and creating, because I know there's a couple of versions of that story. So thank you. We'll definitely share those documents. Moving on to the before we get to that number, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ia.
The question about the Yoruba term for the birth Odu.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. What's the term for birth Odu in Yoruba? The Odu that you're born under that they say during initiation. What's the name of that term?
Odu. There's no any other name than we say my Odu. Understand?
Okay.
Because if you want to ask, say Kini Odu to be on, that means what is the Odu that gave birth to? Kini Odu to be on. And Odu to be on is what we call it.
Okay. Okay, so we have a question here, number 13, and it's kind of similar to the one on the next. So I believe you mentioned previously that some individuals can have a certain type of like mental health issue or some type of like psychosis when they don't receive Ìdóṣù. So what things have you seen or experienced, so mentally, where people don't get initiated to when they should?
Enough experience like that on the scene. Enough experience. So those kind of people are the one that has the level of Ọbàtálá within them is very high. You understand? So this thing came out, and it can happen to them when they are in the marketplace. So it will be calling their attention to it that, man, you have to go and do this. So when they now do it, it will stop. They will never, experience such thing again. And this power will be normalized. So it can't just be something that will just be, grabbing them anyhow like before. So when they have done the Ìdóṣù is going to control this. So not let it happen to them anyhow anymore. I have seen a lot of experience like that. Enough of it. So when they discover, some might not even be Ọbàtálá, some might be Yemoja, some might be Ọ̀ṣun. You understand? Some might be different Òrìṣà. So it happens. A lot of experience like that I've seen. A lot of them.
Okay. So yeah, so I guess you're saying that
they have magnets on their head.
Okay. So they have, they feel like they're being pushed or pressed or magnetized towards something. And then until like that Ìdóṣù isn't sit on, then things won't flow right as they should until they go through their initiation. Okay.
Yeah.
So in regards to, of course, we know a little bit about taboo and something that's not meant to be taken lightly. And so, of course, taboo is called Iwo, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess, can you speak to a little bit about like the philosophy or the thought behind taboo? So of course, they give you items, but could it be something more like other behavioral taboos that you're not supposed to do as someone who's going through Ìdóṣù, or is it only those things that they list during initiation? So just the general thoughts about Iwo.
Yeah, when we are talking of taboo are of two categories. We have the taboo which you must not take. It might be an edible thing. It might be something using on your body. And the second category of it is warning. Understand? For example, like my own Odu, let me use as a case study. My Odu I know that I have to be giving my Ọbàtálá ọtí, but it's a warning for me that I should drink to stupor. Understand? So I must not drink. I must avoid. It's not that I shouldn't drink, but I must avoid drinking excess. You get?
Right.
So that is that. And then I warn some people that you must not wash. When it gets, you must not bath in the river.
Right.
You see, all this taboo is like a guide. It's like a guide. So I can't say precisely if that person just went to the river, and I can't say precisely what is going to happen. But it is good to keep someone's taboo so that bad things will not happen to you. And at the same time, this taboo will be making, good things to be coming along your way. Understand? Whatever that can be something that can affect your life negatively, it will take it away from you. Understand? And this taboo at times, when you have gotten taboo, it clears some cost on some people. They might have a particular cost on their head. Maybe after he has gotten this taboo, and the initiate know himself that he normally takes this thing. That if he stop taking this thing, this cost will never rain on him or her anymore. So that is why taboo is being given. There are some, their nature, their background is from maybe bird, a year. So they will tell them that they must not, any bird, they must not eat it again because he or she is from that family. Understand? Some can be warned not to take anything that is made of beans.
Right.
Maybe his spiritual family has something to do with that. So that is why this some might be banana or whatever. So when we keep to this taboo, definitely things will be moving on well and falling in places on a normal position.
Right. And so with the Iwo, so are those, and I know there's a couple of different ones, they're either based, well, let me ask, how are the taboos indicated? So is this something that's only based on the Odu that you were born under? Is it based under the deity, or is it something that's really unique to the individual? So how do they assess what Ewo would be for the person?
One will be from your Odu. And the other one will be a general taboo of that Òrìṣà which you initiated with.
Gotcha.
So general taboo for Ọbàtálá is that you must not drink palm wine. You get it? And your own Odu itself, we have its own taboo which you must not do, apart from the palm wine thing. So that's it.
Okay. Yes, go ahead. Iya Okunfemike.
Are there any common behavioral taboos for Ọbàtálá devotees? Like, is it common for a devotee to have the taboo of? I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Should we say warning?
Is it common for Ọbàtálá devotees or initiates to have the taboo of not being like argumentative or I guess confrontational? Or is that like a specific thing?
Yeah, the taboo will come in form of warning. Understand? You get me? Unlike what you just said now, you should not have any argument with people or whatever. I think Babaòòṣà Òòṣàkáyọ in Obara, I think you have something like that.
Obara,
Yeah, you must not argue with people. But you know that there are a lot of things that will happen which you need to argue on.
Yes. Yes.
But argument is different from argument. Understand? There are some things when you know that somebody is guilty and he was going against you, Are you not going to argue? You argue.
Exactly.
But, so we normally have that kind of.
Right. So what I'm asking, is that like a general taboo for Ọbàtálá, or is that?
I think it's based on Obar. So you're saying that
Okay, gotcha.
That was based on the Odu
Obar.
Okay.
And that is a difficult water to tread, how to operate or navigate accordingly. But yes, that was one of mine. The question that one EI has here, is there a connection between addiction and dependency and elwow of taking alcohol in excess or not taking palm wine? So I think she's asking, is there a connection of taboo dealing with the addiction to alcohol, or is it not drinking alcohol in excess, or just not drinking palm wine in regards to Ọbàtálá and drinking?
Not drinking palm wine. And in your Odu, it's my cons that you should not drink drink palm wine in essence. Unlike my own Odu now, I mean, not drink alcohol in essence. Understand? But in general, taboo is don't drink palm wine at all.
Right. Okay.
But
Gotcha.
in Odu, drinking excess of drinking should be curtailed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you, because this is a really key thing that we've been discussing over here. So thank you for that. So even when things happen, so if you may break a taboo, and let's say some things may be unintentional. For an example, I used to eat meat, but here, if I don't get it from the farm, I have no idea if it's a pigeon or a hen. I can't do guinea fowl. I don't know where they got the meat from. So let's say if someone inadvertently broke a taboo, or even a behavioral taboo, wasn't supposed to argue, and one argued. So what things do people do to rectify that relationship with your Orisha after a taboo had been broken?
To do it intentionally is different from unintentionally. If you intentionally do it, definitely you will see the wrath, whether you like it or not, because you intentionally do it. Now, when we are doing the initiation, there's something that we do. We'll be giving atare, orogbo, and little stones.
Right.
They will say that if you pour it, you should eat it in your mouth. It's very hard. It's very hard for you. They will not tell you that as it is hard for you to pour this atare with the stone in your mouth, that is how your taboos is hard for you to take in.
Right.
You understand? But if you unintentionally take it, it will never be a curse on you. Then we'll say Ashe.
Okay. Ashe.
You know that you did it unintentionally. For example, now, like one of my friends, in his Odu, he must not eat dog. That is unsafe. He mustn't eat dog. So he traveled to a particular place, whereby when they served him food which was served with dog. So he has taken it. Later now, he got to know that he ate dog. That one is unintentional. So nothing will happen to him.
Okay.
But if he intentionally did it, I cannot say what is going to happen. So that is for the person.
Okay.
So you cannot delve into that.
Gotcha. Yes.
But what is that? Don't break taboo for your own benefit.
Thank you for that. Okay. So, and this is just, this is not any, of course, not personal for all the people that I know here, because I know individuals have good character, but philosophically, because, I do teach and I do write, and I always wonder if an Orisha, so when we know that Orisha aren't given to people, that you're born with something, and we know that you can't break that bond of the Ìdóṣù, like it's an irreversible bond that you made with that Orisha. can an Orisha quote unquote leave a person if someone is not keeping up with their taboos, if they're not keeping up with rituals, they initiated, but the lifestyle does not consist of Baba Orisha or Iya Orisha? Can an Orisha leave that person and never return? Or, will hardships happen? Like, I guess the question is, like, what happens if some people are excessively breaking behavioral and prescripted taboos? Does that Orisha leave that person?
That one is definitely, things is not going to be working good for that person. Haven't you seen it? There is no way. If you ask the person one way or the other, you will have some things that is giving him a kind of, a box that is boxing in within, that he is passing through like a pain, which hardly you can express to the individual. So that is actually the result. How will you have your initiation and at the same time, hardly you appease your Ọbàtálá, so you don't give attention to it anymore. So anything can happen now. So the moment that you don't give attention to your Orisha, that means it's like you don't give attention to your personal self.
Right.
So if you don't give attention to your personal self, what is going to be happening?
Right.
Negativity is going to be the other way.
I'm going to use that symbology. So I suppose, like, if somebody doesn't brush your teeth, you're going to get rotten teeth. So if you don't give that attention to your Orisha, then it's just bad health or quote unquote curses that happen to somebody. So that's I like the way that you put that. And some questions we asked, so we may skip a couple of these. I was listening to some I guess Cuban Iya Orisha was stating, but I want to ask from the Asheshe standpoint. Of course, when I left those 7 days, there were a series of dreams, and I don't know if it was because of after the Ìdóṣù, there was literally like, maybe 17 dreams a night, and they were so vivid and so quick. And I noticed when I started coming back, they started coming to like maybe like 3 or 4 dreams a night, and still effective, but they weren't the same. So once people finish their Ìdóṣù, what things should someone be doing to kind of keep that positive ashe on Ọbàtálá? I know we discussed, what to do to the to your Ọbàtálá icon or your Orisha icon, but is there anything else that you can recommend that someone should do to keep that energy there? Should you sing more? Should you be, doing more poetry and incantation? So what can you do to kind of keep that ashe strong?
Yes. I mentioned something the last time. I think the last class or you had the first one, that these are the things that you need to be doing in order to be keeping the ashe, and at the same time to be keeping your Ọbàtálá potent the more. Should be your Ọbàtálá. You understand? Number one, move closer to the Yami by doing sacrifices, midnight sacrifices to Yami. You understand? And at the same time, it is good to be consulting your energy, just to be, leading you, putting you through some what and planting. And if you are lucky, if you have maybe a wife or a lady might give you a dream, a dream by saying in the dream, in fact, you really love yourself, and you must try and abstain from, maybe fornications and all those things, backbiting, doing bad to people and all those things. You see, the spirit will uplift you and will be a different person entirely.
And so you were saying, well, fornication, so this deals with a certain type of like sexual purity. Like, of course, people shouldn't.
You should abstain from that. Having fun with another man's wife or doing it unintentionally. The person that you don't want to marry, just have fornication with her, then you go and you get home, you still have sex with your wife. You look at that. One way or the other, the power is to be retarding.
Yeah, and there's several stories that I came across in Ifá that speaks about.
So you have to keep yourself. You have to keep yourself clean and holy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's not that you shouldn't do it, but if you know that you want to marry the person, you can have it. But the person that you don't marry does, walking around anyhow, it's not good.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit an Orisha devotee. Holy person must not do that. It's not good. So
Gotcha.
it depreciates the power.
Yeah, and that definitely needs to be said with, I guess that's everywhere, but yeah, there's a lot of hypersexuality that's just, horrible. So yeah, thank you for clarifying that. And then I guess hopefully we'll speak about it in time about the Iyami, because I know sometimes there's a fine line between the Iyami and then Yamu and what she does. So hopefully we'll speak about that when we go over our Yamu section in a couple of weeks. There's a question from, and I know Baba, you have a good relationship with Egbe. One of the Iyas asked, is there a connection between Egbe and Ọbàtálá?
Very well. Very, very well. Ọbàtálá is the father of all the rest of Òrìṣà. And there is no Òrìṣà which you cannot see in the house of Ọbàtálá. In the house of Ọbàtálá, you see Ṣàngó. In the chanting, they will say, Alasuada, Baba Ṣàngó. I don't know the name of that translation. Alasuada, the father of Ṣàngó. Sùúrù Òjòdú, Baba Ọ̀rúnmìlà. That means patient doesn't make him to get angry. The father of Ọ̀rúnmìlà. For ọdún mẹ́ta ṣòwépa, Baba Ẹlẹ́gbà, who is Ẹlẹ́gbà? Èṣù.
He's the father of Eshu. I think because of the chanting, he was the father of Eshu.
So
I heard that.
The person that the issue that has gone for a very long time, we still use it as a proverb for someone, the father of Eshu, that is the name. So all Òrìṣà, they dwell in the house of Ọbàtálá. So the relationship, a very big relationship between Ọbàtálá and Egbe. And as it is, there is nobody on this earth planet that doesn't have Egbe one way or the other. It's just that it is of, hierarchy. So that is it. So Ọbàtálá and Egbe, there is a very good relationship between Egbe and Ọbàtálá.
Okay, and there's another question that is relevant, and to me it sounds like I know some people talk. I think some things are Christian influence when they get into the conversation of spirit wives and spirit husbands. I do know that some of these things do exist. Of course, there was an essay that I had, and I read about Egbe and how somebody was married to 200 Egbe in the spirit world, and so when this person came to the material world, it was causing problems because the person's spouse didn't like the spirit spouses in the Egbe didn't like their material. So I guess the question that someone was asking is what if you're having intercourse with people that aren't your spouse in your dreams? And so I guess, can you speak about that process, and are those Egbe or spirit
in regards to spiritual purity that he was speaking on? And, of course, abstaining from, having affairs, I guess, with people, in the earthly realm. But what about, if you're having intercourse with people in your dreams, is that the same?
That one is very bad. If you're having intercourse in the dream, that means you are in another realm entirely, whereby you are having intercourse with. It might be a different person. It might not be your call. Understand? But if it happens, our fathers, they tell us that there's something that when you wake up and you have that kind of dream. So there are some things which we have to do. Understand? So that to clean yourself, so that it will not affect you physically. You understand? So that is it. It sometimes happens. And there are some akoshe which we have in order to cure that, so that something of that nature will not be happening, will not repeat itself again. Because some people do have that. It might not be a girl, but they do have it once in a blue moon. But the situation of Okon, it might be something that it will happen. It might be every 5 days. You'll be seeing it that someone is having an affair in a dream. Understand? And you'll be noticing that maybe when you get where physically you might be having if that person, if it's a woman and he has husband, he can be having issue with his husband. Or it might disturb that person from having child. If that person doesn't have husband, and it might be disturbing his way of life, seeing some different difficulties in his work, within his family, and some other things like that. Or sickness can be coming up. So there are things. Number one, we have to make sure that we do sacrifice in order to get the Okon. You can never take away Okon, impossible. If anybody says they are going to separate you from your Okon, it is impossible, they cannot separate you. But you have to do some appeasement so that it will not disturb your physical world. Yes, which you have to be doing maybe once in a blue moon. You get it? So that it will not disturb someone's life. So that is it. And also you'll be giving some akoshe, maybe the one you'll be taking in the night or in the morning when you are going out, so that you won't be having this experience in your dream. So that is how they handle that.
Thank you, Baba. So one EI asks, okay, so 2 questions. From a philosophical standpoint, do you either believe that taboo of not taking alcohol in excess to the dangers of addiction or dependency? And I believe the statement about the alcohol with yours, Baba, that was based on your Odu that said, no alcohol in excess. And so I think this may be based on the Odu, because I do believe I've seen Ọbàtálá people not getting drunk, but I have seen them, drinking alcohol, or some people that may take a shot or whatnot. So I think that from the philosophical basis, it may be based on your Odu, but of course, being excessively abbreviated, I think the story should bring a little bit of, clarity to why, how you will want to keep yourself as pure as possible. And of course, drinking to the point of, excess or sickness could ruin that kind of purity. And she also asked, can you explain how Ọbàtálá is the father of all? Of course, he's called Baba Rugbo, or Ọbàtálá. So she's asking, can you explain briefly again how Ọbàtálá is the father of all of the Orisha again?
I said it was the first Orisha that Elédùmarè created. And let us first of all look it from this angle. Yeah, some people believe that Ọbàtálá is light. You understand? When there is light, that was when every other thing comes. Yes. Some people believe that Ọbàtálá is purity. You understand? So when there is purity in what you are doing, everything will be working fine. Now, that is that from Ireland. Now, when you look at the stories, it is the first Orisha which Elédùmarè created to mold Ori for human being. So, and we call him the oldest, Baba Rugbo. When you see somebody is the oldest, so he's the number one. So he's the number one of all the Orisha that Elédùmarè sent to come and do it, to come and create, to establish the world.
So, and one brief follow-up question, and it's something that I've had, and I wanted to know from the Ọbàtálá perspective. We know the Ile Ori, it's a very important, icon that, deals with the inner head. So Ọbàtálá has this function, of course, being, the most senior Orisha. you know, mandated by, you know, LMRA to act on his behalf. So can Ọbàtálá Òrìṣàs, EL Òrìṣàs and Baba Òrìṣàs, do they have the ashe or the authority to make the Ile Ori icon, or is that only done by Ifa and Babaòòṣà to make the Ile Ori for another person?
All the Ọbàtálá Devotees can make Ile Ori, but ever since I've been going now, hardly I can see Ile Ori in any Babaòòṣà Òòṣàkáyọ, but they have it now.
So
the way I was coming, as I was taught, my own Baba doesn't have Ile Ori when he wants to feed Ori. If he wants to feed Ori for someone, he made a circle with Efun on the ground. He ran 7 circles. I will ask him one day, what is the meaning of that? Why he's making that circle? 7 circles within themselves. So then, in that spot, we appease the Ori. So one day I asked him a question. You're supposed to have Ile Ori. He said, no, everybody is walking on the ground. There is no human being who does not walk on the ground. So there is nowhere on the heart, there is no ground, and there is nowhere on the heart where there is no water. So he said that is why they feed the Ori on the ground. So if you feed it, the ashe Ọbàtálá will make the prayer of that person answer if the person is not around. Understand? So due to this, hardly you will see some Ọbàtálá Òrìṣà that has Ile Ori in their head. You get? So I now, I don't have Ile Ori. So if I want to feed Ori for any of my clients, I'll make the circle as I was taught. I'll make it on the ground, then I feed Ori. And I always receive the answer that, thank you, Baba. I can see some changes in my life, you see? Understand? So, but you make Ile Ori, any priest can make Ile Ori for any person.
And of course it'll be done a little, I guess and that's the beauty of life. Like everybody is different, they're not the same. So I suppose Ọbàtálá people have their own unique way of making the Ile Ori. And I guess also exactly. And I guess with the 16 Kairos as well, who I was able to learn from an Ogun priest on, how he had them consecrated. And of course, the last 4 Odu are different. That infers Ogun, but of course, Ọbàtálá's last 4 are different. So when they make and consecrate the 16 Kairos, they're done a little different, and they're invoked different on the Ọbàtálá side, correct?
Yes, exactly.
So, and I guess one I asked, and I guess in the near future, we'll see if we can put together an order to where we could, I guess, collectively order, some 16 Kairos, and the next time one of us goes across, we could pick them up and bring them back for everybody. Okay.
Sure.
So we have a couple here. I think we're getting close on time, but we'll see if we can get some of these we already said. So we can skip through the ones we already talked about. So okay. So we mentioned about the OB. So the kola nut. So of course we stated you give the kola nut every day. After you do your songs, your prayers, your Osha Pipe, you chant, you speak to your kola nut, you break it, and then you can see, how if it's accepted, or if there's anything you need to do with your Ọbàtálá. But when I spoke to you personally, you mentioned that you do something unique with your kola nuts. So more than likely, people would think, take them to the crossroads, throw them away. But you were saying otherwise, that you don't throw away your OB, or there's something that you can do with it.
Yes.
What's your opinion about that?
I don't throw them away. For example, some people, unlike 2 days ago, somebody sent a write-up to me that said, we have 2 types of Ọbàtálá. The Ọbàtálá in Igba that we cover it, and we have the one that we opened it, and was now trying to differentiate that the one that we open is the one that they feed often, but the one that they close is the one that maybe nobody opens it, nobody moves closer to it. So when that person has shared that information, I say, yes, it is true. That you see the one that they used to close is the one that they feed once in a year.
Okay.
They will not move closer to it until during the festival, or if there is an important thing in that community, understand, that they want to do. For example, maybe somebody gave birth to a baby, so they will take him to that Òrìṣà of that community. They will offer him what they need to offer him. That's when they will open it. Or maybe if bad things happen, they will go before that Òrìṣà in order to appease the Òrìṣà, to put correction to that bad thing. You understand? You get it? Now, you see, sometimes when we are feeding Ọbàtálá, some will just feed Ọbàtálá instead of putting the kola nut inside there. You say they go and throw the kola nut away. But I don't do it. The bottom of the snail, I break it inside. The kola nut, I put some inside and I share some with people. So those one, I leave it there. So when it is around the year, when I want to do my festival, after the worship by Ọbàtálá, so I pack it. I add one alligator pepper to it. Then I burnt it into powder. So you see, this powder, we add to any akoshe that we do. So to make the Ashe Ọbàtálá work on that akoshe that you did, that is why we are doing that.
Gotcha.
And this mostly done on the Òrìṣà, which they appease once in a year. I mean, the one they open, like what I said earlier, once in a year. So from this, I personally, I cultivated this idea that this is how I'm going to be doing for my own Òrìṣà, so that I can be making use of all the breaking kola nut, the bebere of the snail. So I'll just be packing them once in a year, and I burnt it, and I'll be adding even the one that you burn, ordinary it. If you add soap with it, mix it up with soap, with black soap, and give it to someone. Whatever you direct it to work is the Ashe Ọbàtálá. The Ashe Ọbàtálá is in it. That's it.
And as you were saying that, of course, I know we call Ọbàtálá Feria Juala or Obalashe, like the quick one, the one who responds to things quickly in the spirit world. So you're saying that with this Ashe, things that you pray for will come quick. And so I think I've seen the other Ọbàtálá as well. I've seen one that's airing, of course, airing. I've seen one that's enclosed. So how often do you wash your Ọbàtálá? And I don't know if it's sensitive, like if you can't say it here, then I'll get it later. But what herbs do they use to wash it, or how often do they wash their Ọbàtálá, and can you wash it here without Igbin, or do you need to have the Igbin to make the Omiamero to wash your Aryan, and how often do you do it?
Now, on the time you do it, if you want to do it, you ask with kola nut. You ask, Òòṣà, do you want to bath this ose? Bam, ask with your kola nut. It's good like that. You don't just pick it up and say, oh, my Ọbàtálá is dirty. Let me just clean it up. No. You ask with your kola nut, Òòṣà, this ose which I want to do for you, do you foresee that I cleanse you? If the kola nut accepted, don't doubt it. But if the kola nut does not accept, just leave it.
Okay.
One day is one day. It's going to answer you that, yes, I want to cleanse me.
Okay.
That is how I do most times. If I want to wash it. But my own Ọbàtálá, I don't wash it. I only wash it once in a year. That is during my festival.
Okay. And then we think we discussed in the past that OB can be used as a substitute. I'm sorry, if we don't have OB, sometimes you can use, I saw how some people may use coconuts, but again, we should be able to get, you know, OB here. So I guess one person asked about the importance of prostration during prayers. I guess when we were speaking about the Ori, how sometimes there's different ways that people, you know, you present your hands or you kneel down or you prostrate when you're speaking about, you can speak to Ori through, like, you know, the soil or whatnot. So is there does that show like the importance on how people's mannerisms or their how they prostrate? Does that make a difference or speak to the importance of that?
And touching the chest.
Okay, speak on, please.
Also in the invocation of Ori mi apuere, Ayami Afio become, where you touch your head and you touch your chest with the coconut.
Yes. Said Ori mi apuere, Ayami apesin. Ori mi kò ṣe gbẹ́lẹ́. Ori ìwọ ló gbẹ́ onílé aró. Ìwọ ló gba àlùkò lóde ìkọsùn. Ìwọ ló gbójú dẹrẹ́ lóde, ìwọ ló gba àlùkò lóde ìkọsùn. Ìwọ ló gba lékèlè lóde ìkẹfún. Orí mi gbà mí o. Orí mi àtètè gbéni fọlọ́rọ̀ kó gbére kò ní kò ní. We have different way of chanting it. You understand? You understand?
Yes.
We have different way. It depends on the one which you listen to often and often.
And where and okay, so, and I guess again when you're feeding it through the ground, and I guess during the different poetries, it tells you, you know, like certain physical mannerisms that you do, you know, when you're doing certain rituals. With the Ori, of course, you know, Osha Pipe is this incantation liturgy, Ijala, you know, Ogun. So is there a liturgy that's specifically made for Ori Inu? Like, where does all the Ori Inu praise poetry come from? Do you not?
Enough of it. Enough.
Okay.
Enough.
Okay.
Enough of it. Enough.
And this is not tied to, like, you know, Ifá or Delagoon. Like, this is the Ori's their own praise poetry.
For Ori, yes. Praise for Ori. We have it. She was singing song the other time. I think that one is people used to chant it. You can see it on social media. The one he was trying to say now, we need accurate, we are not listen, we need the people to belay. Wọ́n gbàgbé tó fi dágbé lórí wọ́n tó fi dáṣọ ìpèsè wọ́n gbà lékèlèké tó fi dáṣọ kẹfún. So it's a very popular, you know, saying about Ori.
Okay.
Oh yes, that was a different one that I learned. The Moshe Bala Ori Atete Niranti and Beniji Orisha Lo.
You see, we have different of this, different way of, you know, of tracing Ori.
Okay, so it looks like, all right. So I guess we're over a little bit of time today. I know we got started late. So I guess before we go, does anybody have any questions? I think next class we went over some of these questions, so we should only have about 2 more slides, and then we're going to jump on to the second lesson. You know, and we'll just keep going further. But for now, does anybody have any questions before we close for today?
What's the purpose of the Efun?
Efun.
The clay.
In fact, the purpose of Efun is very important. Efun itself, it has its own importance. Do you know Efun is also a medicine? Yeah, you can use Efun. For example, now there are some that used to have, you know, bad dreams. So if you want to sleep at night, they will ask you that you should plant the Efun and use it to rub all over your body, and nobody should sleep with you. So that if the dreams are bad, or if there is any spiritual, evil behind this thing. Through your dream, you are going to see it. You understand? So that's one of the importance of Efun. And also, we use Efun in order to bring those people that went on trance at times. We use Efun to bring them back. So there's a way we apply that Efun in order to bring them back. Understand? And you do know that this Efun, you can use this Efun to cure when somebody is having stomach ache. This Efun. So Efun has a lot of work that is doing. We use Efun as well to decorate our house of Ọbàtálá, to decorate our icon, and so many things like that. And we use it as a symbol on our body, as a dotted listing on our body at times. Maybe if you are going out for any Òrìṣà rituals or whatever. So that is the importance of Efun. Efun is good.
Okay. All right. I guess the last question here. Oh, so Efuntola asked again about the general way of the general or the appropriate way to disregard the OB or the kola nut after we're done, after you're done with it. So again, and you were stating that with yours that you don't discard yours. I mean, outside of, I guess divination, because sometimes they ask where did the Orisha want it, but you were saying for yours.
Yes. You might ask at times that this obi, does it go in with ebo, or the person should go and pour it on the crossroad, or should go and pour it before it. Yes, it do. So those are the way to dispose it at times.
Okay, and then you can consult with your OB. Of course, if you see the two back, if there's two lobes, the two back lobes mean no. 1/4 and one back is yes. And that's a general way to read, yes and no between the OB.
When two opens and two closes, if it is 4 lobes. When two opens and two closes, that is opinion. That is accepted. So when one opens and 3 closes, that is Okan. That you should put your mind at rest. That things is going to work out fine for you. When 3 opens and 1 closes, that is talking about your Iwa, Etaiwa, and blessings of Irekon. And when 4 closes, that is Ishegun. And when 4 opens, that is Alafia.
Correct.
So these are the ways that is doing. And this kola, it has the faces. We have the female faces and we have the male faces. Understand? The one that is like that has this kind of pointed faces, that one is the male. And the one that has flat faces, that one is the female. So there's a way we recognize the male and the female faces in the 4 lobes. It's only the 2 lobes that doesn't have a face that you can say, this one is the female and this one is male.
All right. So this was good. Again, y'all, again, Baba Ẹfúnlàdé, thank you so much for your time and giving us this wisdom. We greatly appreciate it. And I guess to the update to the students who came on last, majority of the stuff on the website is completed. I'm not a web designer, but I got it looking pretty good. So within a week, we'll be able to, to get on, and there's a social media aspect. So it's just like, Facebook or whatever. If you guys have questions or you want to communicate back and forth, we can. And then all of the course recordings are posted on different sites for, those with Ifá University. It's on the Orisha praxis side, on the assembly. It's on YouTube as well. I also shoot out a link so you can kind of keep up with the last classes if you have missed them. So we'll pick up last week. We'll pick up next week. There's only a couple of questions here we'll go through, and we'll jump on the next aspect of Òrìṣà Funfun praxis. So thank you all again. Again, Baba Ẹfúnlàdé, does this pro bono. So if you have any small things that you want to donate, please let us know. You can shoot me an email and we'll go ahead and send it over to Baba to thank him for his sacrifice. So thank you again, Baba. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
Eshun
After-
Aduboyo.
Here we go.
Ó dàbọ̀.
Dabo.
Ó dàbọ̀.